What up, guys? I'm starting a series where I ask questions to myself that I see online and I answer them just so you guys can get to know me better as a person. Not just all about, hey, like, I love music and I want to do music and music. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. I'm a little cold. Uh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, let's see here. The first question is, what do you like to do in your free time? Okay, so obviously you guys know I like music, like I just said. So I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that. But I love listening to music and I love creating music, and that's a whole other story. We won't even jump into that right now. But besides music, I love anime, video games, rollerblading, Disney, superheroes, drinking soda. Diet Coke is my favorite. Um, yeah, that's the gist of it. Let's see, anime. That's anime. I love anime. Who's the most fascinating person you've met? The first person that comes to my mind. They say you want most, but you can't have, right? So the first person that comes to my mind is my mother. She's in heaven, so I never get more time with her. So she's probably the most fascinating person I've ever met. But man, there's a long list of people that I would love to name. Like, I'm starstruck, right? So I would love to list like the celebrities I've met. Like, there's some really interesting celebrities I've met just because they're so mysterious, right? I've only had a few moments with them in time, so it's like, wow, like sharing the same air that they are breathing at the moment, and it's just really cool. Like Machine Gun Kelly, Machine Gun Kelly. I'd love to know more about him as a person. Like I've seen him perform a few times, like multiple times. I've met him in person before. I've heard other people say this about him before. He's always high, and some people are probably laughing when I say that, but I mean, he's self medicating, and I'd love to know more about him. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic. He's a really cool guy. I love his music. I love him, like as a person. Like, but I would love to know like why. Like, is there another way to help him? He's not the person to go. There's lots of artists that go through stuff like that. Like artsy people like us, we have like that kind of like illness, mental illness going on and stuff like that. So you just never know. Another really interesting person, Chad Hugo. I met Chad Hugo. Um, one half of NERD, one half of the Neptunes. At one point, the Neptunes, Chad Hugo and Pharrell, and they had 60%. From what I've heard, a statistic that at one point in time they had 60% of the instrumentals, the beats played on radio at one point in time. So I think that's really crazy. Like, super talented guy. Um, he's one of the millionaires who could walk past you and you wouldn't know it's him. He's like the brains in the background kind of guy. The writer, the instrumentalist, the beat maker, the producer, super producer, should I say. Super producer is probably the right term. But yeah, like when I talked to him, I didn't even know I was talking to him. I met him, and I met him through a family member of his, and he was just a really nice guy. He asked me a bunch of questions, and I didn't even know who I was talking to. I would have loved to ask him a bunch of questions too. It was when I was first recording music. Yeah, those are the people that come to mind. Um, yeah, let's move on to the next question. What was the last book you really got into? If you don't read, you definitely should. I recommend Cloud Atlas for seasoned readers and The Golden Compass for newbies. So, the last book you really got into. The first book, okay, so I don't read nearly as much as I should. Right now I'm reading textbooks for school, but I'm not really into those. I'm not really fascinated by those, right? I would say the Bible, the Holy Bible. Show me a better book. um, there's just so many good stories in there. My favorite story, which I've never read completely. I've heard about like in preaching online and through church and stuff like that, would probably be with David. David runs to his problems like he ran to, oh my gosh, I can't remember the giant's name. The giant, he ran to him. He didn't like walk or creep around. He ran ready to fight the giant. He doesn't run from his problems. You know, there's a lot of tales about David. David is the man. The other one of my favorite stories is Job. I often find myself, I aspire to be like David, right? But I often find myself like Job in a sense that Job, uh, Job loses, right? And he lost everything: family, illness, land, farming, land, all that stuff, crops, everything. And his friends are like, "Oh, well, you must have done something wrong to not appease God." Da, 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 da. And he's like, "No." What they don't realize is that the devil talked to God and said, "Oh, so Job is one of your most loyal servants or people or something like that, right?" And God was like, "Yeah." So God was, yeah. So the devil said something like, "Well, I bet if we took all this stuff away from him, he wouldn't be so loyal." And Job proved the devil wrong. God agreed to do these things to Job, and he didn't do them. I guess the devil did them, right? But the God said, "You can't, on one condition, you can't kill him." And over time, God gave him back everything, you know, a new wife, kids, a family again, crops, farmland, everything. And it multiplied. I mean, it's unfortunate, right? What happened, there's no real, like, but, like, canceling it out. Although, however, I don't know how you'd say it, right? Um, he showed his loyalty to God, right? Which is the most important thing. Um, it's really deep. It's a lot going on there. Let's move on to the next subject. But yeah, that's the book. That last book I really got into. But I probably should read the whole thing. Like, you know, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. What are some movies you really enjoyed? I said earlier I really love superheroes, so I love like all the Spider-Man movies. I'm so stoked that they're making a Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland. I haven't seen all of Marvel movies, to be honest. I haven't seen all of Iron Man 1, which is really bad. It looks really cool, especially knowing the whole legacy behind Marvel now, right? It all started with the very first Iron Man movie, which is incredible to me. What are some movies you really enjoyed? Spider-Man, Iron Man, wow. Superhero movies in general. You know what movies I've neglected to see that I haven't seen though, while we're on this topic? And I sound like sexist almost because I like superheroes in general, but they're all women superheroes I haven't seen. Freaking Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel and what's the other one? Wonder Woman. And I heard Wonder Woman was really good. So yeah, but I'm not really big on DC, but still, like I wouldn't mind seeing one. The Batman series, Pirates of the Caribbean. There we go. Those are some interesting ones. What else? There are some good movies out there. Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow. Like you just can't. You know what I'd argue about Jack Sparrow? Jack Sparrow. They say no one can trust Jack Sparrow, right? But the thing is, he just wants to be loved by everyone. They say no one should trust him, but he just wants to be loved by everyone. What Jack Sparrow lacks is, I posted this on Instagram before a while back. What Jack Sparrow lacks is he never has all three things that he wants or desires at the same time or needs at the same time, right? A trustworthy crew, his ship, the Black Pearl, and his compass, which points into what he wants most. If he had those three things, he would be like a beast pirate captain. You're the worst pirate I ever heard of. Ah, but you've heard of me. That's a quote from Pirates of the Caribbean, The Black Pearl, the first movie. Anyway, but you've heard of me. Anyway, let's move on. There's a lot of good movies out there. What amazing adventures have you been on? Adventures? Oh, man. What amazing adventures have I been on? So, amazing adventures. I can't really. I mean, I've been up and down the East Coast, um, just trying to get myself together, just running away from problems when I shouldn't be running away from them. I wouldn't call it an adventure. I guess it's an adventure, right? To some people, right? Riding the Greyhound bus up and down the East Coast. I lived in near Washington D.C. area in Northern Virginia. I lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee for a while. I lived in Norfolk, Virginia. I lived in Chesapeake, Virginia. I lived in Pensacola, Florida. I lived in Rhodes, Spain before. That was cool when I was younger. My folks were military, so yeah. I lived in a few places. I wouldn't really call them adventures. I've been to Disney World when I was a kid. That's probably the most magical place, right? I guess that's fitting, right? The most magical place I've been in my life. I think when I was in fifth grade, we went for like Christmas. We saw the Christmas parade. It was amazing, and I think it was like an anniversary year, like the 50th anniversary or the 25th anniversary. It was something like that. It was really cool. Dang, it sounds boring. Adventures, but yeah, it's probably people say I'm interesting and fun. I performed at concerts before. That's cool, right? Um, yeah, that's fun. Anything else? What else? Adventures. I don't know, dude. Let's move on because I this is depressing. I need more adventures in my life. What are you kind of obsessed with these days? That goes back to music, right? I'm obsessed with music. My passion, my obsession, my healthy obsession is music. I want to learn audio engineer, music produce, shoot music videos professionally, all that good stuff. Like, I want to, like, I had a friend who got an instrumental on the Kardashian show, so he gets royalties. He gets a check like every 2 or 3 months the rest of his life. As long as the episode is streaming or airing online or on TV, he's gonna get money. Like that's pretty cool. So the more instrumentals you get like that, that's passive income the rest of your life. Like things like that. I'm about that life. I want to get into that kind of stuff. There's lots of ways to make money with YouTube partnerships, streaming your own music on Apple Music, Spotify, etc. through DistroKid or CDBaby.com or whatever, right? Like there's lots of ways, etc. There's lots of ways to make money with your music, but that's what I want to do with my life eventually. What TV series do you keep coming back to and rewatching? So, if you didn't know, my favorite anime series right now is My Hero Academia. And I haven't even seen they're on the fourth season, so I've seen about half, maybe half, of what I need to see. Um, I rewatch some of the episodes I've seen before sometimes. I just never make time for TV or even anime like I used to. Another big anime I want to watch is Saint Seiya or Knights of the Zodiac. They even made a Netflix series. I want to see the old school version and the Netflix series. I want to see them. They look freaking awesome. Takeshimita Gokoro no Kosumo. Alright, what hobbies would you like to get into if you had the time and money? So, have the time, don't have the money yet, right? That's positive thinking. Yet is the keyword. I want to get more audio equipment. I want to get like a super nice camera for filming. I'm talking about like, for me, like on a like $5,000 budget, I want to get that kind of camera one day. Like I want to have like my audio engineer. I think he has like about 100. No, I think it's maybe like $60,000 worth of audio equipment in his freaking studio. So if he can make me sound that good with that amount, then that's probably the right budget I'd want. You don't need all that, right? Obviously, like there's a certain gear setup you need. I mean, you can do a lot with a $5,000 setup. Don't get it twisted. Like I'm not trying to confuse anybody here. I'm just saying like I want to be able to. I'm not trying to imitate. I'm just saying I'm trying to. I want to be professional, and he's a professional. So he's showing me, he's mirroring to me what it takes, not just for my sound, but for other people's sounds as well. He has a lot going on in that studio. Um, Among your friends, what are you best known for? I don't really have a lot of friends, but I'm best known for my music. Like that's my thing. Everyone wants to talk about music with me, and that's cool and all. Sometimes it gets lonely, but not lonely, but what's the right word? It just gets like that's the thing people want to talk about. You guys, that's my time.